What's up, boxing fans? I'm Miguel Maravilla here, giving you a preview and prediction of the anticipated rubber match between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Triple G Golovkin. As you all know, they have faced each other twice. Both fights just have gone down to the wire, have been very close. They both met in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. As far as the first fight goes, they first met in September 2017. That fight could have gone either way. 1 year later, in the rematch, another fight that was, again, it was a close one. You really can't argue the decision on no matter who the winner was. Same goes for the first fight. It was a draw. Could have gone either way. Same goes for the second fight, the rematch. Although if I had to pick a winner, definitely it was Canelo. I felt he was just more active. Definitely put on a great show in the rematch. But here we are. This is the third fight scheduled to take place Saturday, September 17th. Live on the DAZN pay-per-view. Since the last fight, Golovkin teamed up with trainer Jonathan Banks, a protege of the late Emmanuel Stewart. In their first fight, Golovkin scored a knockout over an overmatched Steve Rose. That taking place at the Garden. Following the knockout over Rose, Golovkin was in a battle against a very tough Sergey Derevyanchenko, a fight in which Derevyanchenko was down early in the fight, but managed to give Golovkin a tough fight, a fight in which many felt he was exposed. My personal opinion, he definitely struggled. He definitely had his hands full in that fight. A pandemic later, 1 year later, Golovkin scored a 7th round stoppage over Kamil Sezmeta. Sezmeta gave Golovkin a very tough fight, a fight in which he was down multiple times as Golovkin scored the stoppage. And in his last fight, Golovkin scored a 9th round stoppage over Japan's Ryota Murata. That fight taking place at the Super Arena Saitama in Japan. This was a fight in which Golovkin was struggling, not necessarily struggling, my bad, but adapting early on. Murata just came to fight. He was not there to back down. He was going forward. He was active in that fight. Never took a step back. Managed to land some good shots on Golovkin. However, Golovkin after the 6th round just took over and slowly broke down Murata en route to the 9th round stoppage. As for Saul Canelo Alvarez, since the last fight with Golovkin, Canelo was showcased in New York's Madison Square Garden, scoring a 3rd round TKO over Rocky Fielding, followed by a unanimous decision over former world champion Daniel Jacobs. That was a fight in which Canelo was very flashy. He also managed to knock out Sergey Kovalev, that taking place prior to the pandemic. And then 1 year later, he took on Caleb Smith in winning the WBC super middleweight title. vacant WBC super middleweight title. Then defended that title as he scored a third round TKO over Avni Yildirim. Unified the WBO super middleweight title along with the WBC and WBA by scoring a devastating knockout over Billy Joe Saunders, stopping him in the 8th and breaking, I believe, what was it, an orbital bone, basically shattering his eye. Then managed to become undisputed super middleweight champion with a TKO win over Caleb Plant. And in his last fight, once again moved up to light heavyweight, facing WBA super world light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. In a fight in which Bivol just had his way throughout much of the fight. Fight in which Canelo looked for the knockout. Canelo just did not look like himself. Looked very one-dimensional. Bivol just out-hustled, outworked Canelo en route to the unanimous decision win. Interestingly, the judges scored that fight 115-113, meaning Bivol winning that last round is what did it for him, in which the eyes of many it was much more convincing than 115-113. As Canelo will exercise the rematch clause, but hang on, as he has unfinished business to settle with Triple G, as the stage is set. Despite what has happened since the last fight, with Golovkin switching trainers and hooking up with Jonathan Banks, Canelo achieving greatness, coming undisputed, and then falling into Bivol and suffering a defeat, none of that matters. You have two styles that simply mesh, that anytime they face each other, you're going to get the same result. You're going to get the same fight. These guys know each other very well inside that ring. Again, it's going to be one of these close fights. Everybody mentions, Golovkin, he's getting old. Canelo's going to take advantage of him. I feel that's not the case. In this fight, you're going to have Canelo doing the same thing, mixing it up, boxing, moving around. Golovkin chasing behind the jab, not necessarily chasing, stalking, cutting the ring off, executing. It's going to be a battle for both men in that ring. Trust me. No matter what, we're not going to get a one-sided Canelo victory. If Canelo gets the victory, it will not be one-sided. It will be a very hard-earned decision. But you have Golovkin that has a lot to prove. He has been very inactive since the last fight, as mentioned. Like I said, these guys can fight each other all the time, and these styles are gonna mesh very well. You can put them in the ring 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, whatever it is, you're gonna get the same result. I feel this fight is gonna be the same. It's gonna go down to the 12 rounds. There's no way Canelo stops Golovkin. Golovkin is going to come into this fight very well prepared behind that jab. Little different game plan this time with Banks in his corner. I feel they'll neutralize Canelo's movement. They're going to study a lot of that Bivol fight, despite the styles are different between Bivol and Golovkin. I still think there's a lot to plan. There is a lot to look at in that last fight with Canelo and Bivol. It's going to take a very, very established jab to neutralize Canelo. But in this fight, I got to go with Canelo on the rebound. I feel he redeems himself and finally closes the chapter in his rivalry with Golovkin. But hey, I could be wrong. This is boxing. You never know. Golovkin wins. Hey, a fourth fight is always good. No matter what. People will pay to see a fourth fight between Golovkin and Canelo. But again, I'm going with Canelo by another close decision.